Hello and welcome back to A Drink and a Song, a place where we're going to have a drink and break down a song. Obviously, you came back for episode 2, so thank you. I hope I didn't screw it up too much in episode 1. But on this episode, I want to start out with a little tour of Hey Daddies. So as I mentioned last week, it's called Hey Daddies because for 20 plus years, my kids have always said, "Hey Daddy, where are you?" And "Hey Daddy, where's such and such?" So we named it Hey Daddies, and as promised, my beautiful assistant slash daughter slash producer, Grace, is going to take a quick tour around. So as she moves around, you can see I have not filled it up with a lot of things yet. So I had where I did a half marathon a couple years. I've got lots of my little Miller Lite things. You might even have seen some of our LSU, Detroit Tigers, Lions, Red Wings banners. You'll see my dartboard. You might even see a groundhog named Damn It Terry that I'll tell you about another day. You'll see our Texas Pete sign, because if you know myself and Adam, we put Texas Pete on everything, and we'll have a Jack and Coke with you if you come by. So lots of just little things, and there's a whole bunch of things that people have brought to me. They thought of me when they saw it, and so I'm slowly decorating it and getting it to where I want it to be. But the main issue, or the main thing I want to show you, is the actual bar. So as I mentioned, my friend Andy made this for me, and this bar is to look like an ocean top. I want the waves coming in. Free Range Customs can make one for you if you're interested, but I love this bar. It makes, like Toby Keith said, I love this bar, and I actually do love this bar top as much as I love the bar. So I hope you enjoyed that brief tour of the location, and let's just get right into our drink, and let's get right into our song. So the drink this week is a classic. As soon as you see the copper mug, you know it's a Moscow Mule. So a Moscow Mule, I wanted to do some history, figure out where did it come from, when did it start? So in the early 1940s, in Los Angeles is where this began. So there was an excess, and it's only 3 ingredients, which is vodka, ginger beer, and lime juice. Super simple. But the Mule was created by the marketing executive from Smirnoff, a Russian vodka that had been brought to the United States. And he was friends, and they were teamed up with Jack Morgan, who was making ginger beer, and they had an excess of ginger beer, and they also had this Russian vodka, and they weren't sure how to promote it. So they got together with someone named Sophie Brzezinski, who created the Moscow Mule. So both Smirnoff and ginger beer were struggling products, and Sophie was a Russian immigrant who had an excess or a surplus of copper mugs from her family's Russian copper factory. So let's take a drink. It's a good one. And so I like it, and I thought it was a simple one. So they kind of got together and said, hey, let's offload all this extra inventory. And so they kind of created this perfect storm. And what was really interesting is there was no social media. So there were Polaroids though. So they went around with Polaroid cameras to all the bars in Los Angeles, and they got the bartenders to pose with the copper drink and these 3 ingredients. And it kind of created a buzz, and the next thing you know, it took off. And so they named it the Moscow Mule because Moscow, obviously to honor the Russian roots, but the mule to signify the ginger beer's kick at the end. So now every location has a mule. You can have a Kentucky Mule, which is made with bourbon instead of vodka. You can have an Austin Mule made with Deep Eddies. You can have a Russian made with Irish one made with Irish whiskey. You can have a Mexican one with tequila. You can mix it with whatever alcohol, and it's still a mule if it's got ginger beer and it comes in a copper cup. Easy to make, delicious. So that's your drink for today. So as I mentioned last week, we're going to switch over to country for today. We're going to do some Zach Top, and if you haven't found Zach Top or listened to him yet, Zach Top, he's only a 28-year-old American kind of country bluegrass artist, singer, songwriter, and he's inspired by artists like George Strait, Keith Whitley, Randy Travis, the old school traditionals. So he won New Male Artist of the Year at the 2025 CMA, so you might actually start to hear him more on mainstream radio and start to see him even more. So if you don't know him and you like new artists but also like that traditional country sound, give him a listen. So Today we're going to break down one of my favorite songs of his called Use Me. And like I said, like last week, I live vicariously through the music. I've never been in a bar to pick up another lonely soul. Because this song is so well written, I can relate though. The first part is told from the male perspective, and then the second part is told from the female perspective, which I like that because there's not a victim here. It's two adults who want to just have some companionship. And I really like the way it's told. And when I say he's country, the first line he looks over and he said, "You look lonely, fancy that. I look lonely too. I'm lonely too." You don't hear the word fancy that up in the north. That is definitely a southern thing. So I love when he says fancy that. The one thing about this song, it's not really a cheating song until she starts singing. In the beginning, it's just a song about two people wanting to find some companionship. But she changes that at the end. So let's go ahead and jump right into the song because I hope you're going to like it, and we'll listen to the very beginning of the song. So.
He said, "I don't know your story, I just know you look lonely. Fancy that, I'm lonely too. We both got our reasons, no reason to share them. Let's just dance, hold me closer to you."
Like I said, it's not a cheating song, y'all. Yet. Let's just dance, let me hold me closer to you. That's good, nice, innocent. You're lonely, I'm lonely. Let's just dance. But we're gonna lie to each other, and we know we're lying.
Maybe just for tonight, tell me you love me, and tell me you need me. I know we both know it ain't true.
We both know it ain't true. That's the truth.
And I'll whisper you're everything I've ever wanted. I'll pretend if you pretend to.
That's good.
Oh, tell me you love me and use me like I'm using you.
Oh, that's terrible when you use somebody. Or is it? Maybe it's not terrible if for that night, just the two of you are dancing and you tell me I love you. I know it's not true, but let's just pretend like it's true. Now it switches. She's like, let's not trade numbers. Let's not get to know each other. Let's just dance. You tell me you love me and I'm everything you wanted. Except she says one line in there, and pretend like there's nobody at home. And I was like, oh no, now it's a cheating song. It was just a lonely song, but now it's a cheating song. But it's her cheating. So let's get into the second verse from her side.
She said, don't ask for my number, and I won't ask for yours. Some things are best left alone.
Unless she gets caught.
So just kiss me again, like this never ends, like there's no one.
Here's the cheating part.
Waiting at home. And tell me you love me. Tell me you need me. I know we both know it ain't true.
It ain't true, but tonight it is.
And I whisper you're everything I've ever wanted. I'll pretend if you pretend to. Oh, tell me you love me and use me like I'm using you.
It's such a good old song, and I hear the steel guitar. Listen, we're gonna end it up here as he just like wraps it all up. We all know what we're doing. We're gonna do it anyway.
Maybe I'll whisper you're everything I've ever wanted. I'll pretend that you pretend to. Oh, tell me you love me and use me like I'm using you.
That's a good song. That's a good country, cheating, sad, crying in your beer kind of song. I promise next week we'll take it up a little bit, but I like Zach Top. I hope you like Zach Top. Thanks for joining in the episode. I think we're a little shorter this time. I appreciate you listening. Next week we'll go on to episode 3. I'll see you on Wednesday. Any final words from my lovely assistant here?
Do good, be good.
Do good, be good. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much.